Baru tried hard to get away while watching his enemies surround Jinwoo. My king! My king! Seeing the plague monarch slam Jinwoo into a building was too much. His king was in trouble. His king was in trouble. Baru needed to protect his king. Suddenly, Baru was very upset. He went into a special urgent mode, and stopped thinking clearly. He only focused on keeping his king safe. Baru! Baru shouted, and his face changed a lot. Every part of his body, his arms, shoulders, neck, chest, legs and feet began to grow bigger at the same time. He pushed against the block of ice that was holding him. Crack, crack, small lines started to appear in the ice, which seemed very strong. Baru struggled and shook with all his strength. Crack! The ice holding him began to break, because he was moving so violently. He only wanted to help his king. Screech! He twisted and turned as hard as he could, and finally broke free. Boom! Baru tore a large hole in the ice, and rushed toward Jinwoo. My king! Baru cried out. Even though she was glad to see him, she quickly noticed he was hurt. He had small scratches and cuts from when the bug-like creature had hit him, and sent him flying into the building. Baru was angry that anyone would dare hurt Jinwoo. How could she touch his king? Scrata blah. Very, very angry, Baru rushed toward the Queen of Insects. The Frost Monarch was very surprised, as Baru's cry echoed through the city of Seoul. A simple soldier broke free of my magic. That shouldn't have been possible. The Frost Monarch checked Baru's strength and was very surprised. It wasn't just a regular soldier. How did a human create someone so powerful? These marshals were like extra hands for the Shadow Monarch, and each one could cause a lot of damage. While the Frost Monarch was shocked, the Queen of Insects stepped forward. This disrespectful child doesn't even know who his mother is. He needs to be punished, Screech. You silly old woman. What did you just say to me? The Plague Monarch, who controlled all the bugs in the world of chaos, was very upset by the Ant King's rude words. Quickly Baru moved away, and sent a blast of magical energy toward her middle, where bugs were crawling all over. Gressa! The Ant King's loud screech startled all the bugs, and for a moment everyone could see what the Plague Monarch really looked like, a woman with decaying skin and empty eye holes filled with small worms. The Plague Monarch was very angry that the Ant King wasn't obeying his leader. Gressa! The Queen of Insects roared back, and the force of it pushed Baru backward. The Ant King wobbled and slid backward before steadying himself. He made gasping sounds like Screega. Baru shook his head, trying to get his bearings. The Queen of Insects called all her bugs back together to rebuild her huge form. Jinwoo watched them fight, and gave a nod. The opponents were very powerful, and Baru wouldn't be able to fight them for very long. But he could distract at least one of them. The other rulers were also watching Baru battle the Queen. Jinwoo noticed how worried they looked. Baru could only hold them off for a little while, so Jinwoo ran toward the Frost Monarch as fast as he could, moving quicker than anyone thought possible. Zoom! With every step, the ground cracked beneath his feet. The Frost Monarch created an ice spear while watching Jinwoo rush toward him, but then Jinwoo quickly changed direction right before he got to the Frost Monarch, and jumped toward the Fang Monarch. The Fang Monarch was getting ready to fight back when Jinwoo attacked the Frost Monarch, so he was surprised by the sudden change. He just managed to block Jinwoo's knife, and his quick instincts took over. Jinwoo clicked his tongue, feeling a little frustrated. He had wanted to seriously injure the Fang Monarch with a sudden attack, but the Fang Monarch reacted faster than Jinwoo thought he would. Luckily it wasn't a complete failure. He had even surprised the powerful beast. Let's keep going. He held his weapon in a different way, and began a fast series of attacks. The sound of the blades cutting through the air was loud, and everything around them was nicked and scratched. Clang, 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 clang. The King of Beasts had trouble keeping up and looked upset as he was pushed back. Suddenly Jinwoo felt danger behind him, and quickly turned his body. The Frost Monarch's ice spear almost hit his stomach. It was now 2 against 1. For a quick moment, Jinwoo looked at the Frost Monarch, and could tell he didn't like him. Jinwoo squeezed his teeth together, and hit the ice spear with his dagger. The hit made the Frost Monarch bend over. Jinwoo quickly used this chance. Shock! Jinwoo tried to hit the Monarch's proud eyes, but he only made a small cut on his face, because the Monarch quickly turned his head. So close Jinwoo knew the King of Beasts would attack next, so he turned around quickly. Clang! It was a close call, but Jinwoo didn't even have time to feel safe. The Frost Monarch held his spear firmly and began attacking again. He faced another Frost Monarch in front of him, and the Fang Monarch behind him. These two very strong monsters swung at him, without stopping. Clang, 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 clang. Kamish's wrath moved quickly, blocking and pushing back their attacks. Jinwoo and the monarchs were moving incredibly fast. People could only see a quick blur as they passed by. It was so fast that even Jinwoo couldn't actually see how the monarchs were moving. Instead, he could understand where their attacks were going, and what they would do next. He noticed everything they did, how they moved, where they looked, even how they breathed, and how their muscles worked. He could also sense the energy they used. He didn't miss a single detail. He realized if he moved just a bit quicker, he could get ahead of his enemies. Just a little faster was all he needed. Faster, faster. Ethereal enemies were shocked, as Jinwoo became even quicker. How was this possible? How could this be happening? He wasn't supposed to be strong enough to use all of the Shadow Monarch's power, but he still was. Their enemy was becoming more powerful than anyone expected. The two monarchs remembered being scared of one of the most powerful kings in the chaotic world. Crash. With his knives crossed, Jinwoo stopped the monarch's weapons and pushed them back. The two monarchs were very surprised. Leonard thought he was the only one who could clearly see the battle, because Thomas was getting serious help from the healers. He couldn't see things very well. He was really surprised. Even though he was fighting a creature that had defeated a powerful military tank, and another monster that could freeze everything with just one breath, Jinwoo didn't give up. Hunter Sung started moving faster and faster, so quickly it was hard to follow him with your eyes. It was like a huge storm was happening with really loud booms and crashes. What? Thomas asked, surprised by all the noise. What's going on? Leonard kept staring at Jinwoo, and replied with disbelief. It's like, was this what it looked like when incredibly powerful creatures fought each other? It's like I'm watching something terrible happen. Leonard shook his head and answered truthfully. The one good thing was that at least one fighter was helping them. Scradle. Jinwoo turned at Baru's yell. The Queen of Insects had stepped on Baru and he couldn't break free no matter how hard he tried. Jinwoo's eyes got big as he felt Baru losing his power, his life slowly disappearing. Was this how they had gotten rid of the soldier who helped Thomas? Jinwoo pushed back the attacks of the two remaining monarchs, and then tried to call Baru back into his shadow. The system told him, "You cannot call back the designated target." It repeated the message again and again. Jinwoo's face grew dark. He couldn't let Baru be defeated. Baru was a strong fighter and an important part of his team. Without Baru, things could become very unstable. The battle would be decided soon. Jinwoo blocked the spear and sword aimed at him, and ran towards the queen. She was very focused on sending the shadowy warrior back to where it came from, so she didn't notice him coming until it was almost too late. Human. Jinwoo used his magical energy to make a loud sound, just like Baru had done before. Rasa, the insects covering the queen, fell off from the force of his magical shout. With her true form now visible, the queen looked very worried. She quickly shot green slime at Jinwoo's face, but he blocked it easily with his power. Any harmful fumes from the slime disappeared because of a special ability. Traces of poison skill found. Detoxifying ability activated. 3-2-1 detoxification complete. The Plague Monarch wasn't dangerous to Jinwoo anymore, and now he was close enough to reach her. Jinwoo's eyes shone. The Frost Monarch had lived after being stabbed in the chest, so it was likely the Plague Monarch could survive too. Jinwoo knew he had to keep attacking until he found a place where he could do some real damage. He held his knives very tightly. He attacked quickly. The knives hit the queen's body many times, making lots of holes. It was like a fast machine gun. But the strange creatures inside her quickly worked together to fix her body. Could she heal? That wasn't a problem for Jinwoo. If the queen could heal herself, Jinwoo knew he had to attack quickly and strongly, faster than she could recover. He chased after her as she was pushed back, repeatedly using his powerful attack. The attack struck again and again and again. Surrounded by dark energy, his weapon continued to hit her without stopping. Ahash! Jinwoo fought relentlessly, stripping away the queen's defenses until finally, "You have defeated one of the 9 monarchs, Quasha the Plague Monarch. You have leveled up. You have leveled up." Messages appeared, announcing his victory. Great. But he didn't have time to celebrate, because 2 more enemies were still trying to defeat him. Jinwoo quickly turned to protect himself from the powerful attack coming his way, but his enemies were a bit quicker than he was this time. While he was focused on the Plague Monarch, the enemy reached out to grab him with one hand. Jinwoo felt a rush of wind against his back. Suddenly 5 sharp claws tore out of his chest, digging deep into his back where it hurt the most. Jinwoo's body went stiff. His weapon, Kamish's Wrath, dropped to the ground. The Frost Monarch stood right in front of him. The monarch made an ice dagger appear in his hand. This is the end. He stabbed it into Jinwoo's stomach. Clang! Jinwoo woke up, and Baru cried out. My king! Jinwoo shook his head, but Baru didn't listen. He tried to stand, even though his legs were wobbly. He stretched out his claws and hobbled toward the Frost Monarch. Screech! Jinwoo felt Baru's sadness and hopelessness. The hunter didn't want Baru to disappear forever because of the powerful monarchs. He saw what Jinwoo was going to do, and sadly shook his head, tears forming in his eyes. Even though the Ant King protested, Jinwoo gently pushed Baru back into his shadow. The old ice elf smiled, believing he was about to win. Is that all you can do, human? He asked. Then whispered close to Jinwoo's ear, you won't be around to see our army attack this world. The Frost Monarch stepped back and laughed. But your country will face a different kind of trouble. I will personally cause great suffering to the people there, just because they are from the same place as you are. They would be forced to exist forever in a state that wasn't truly living or dying. The cold from the knife in Jinwoo's stomach quickly spread through his body, making him feel frozen. Even as frost formed on his face, Jinwoo's eyes shone with fury. The Frost Monarch began to laugh at him. Keep hating me, even when I'm gone, the king of the snowfolk said. He pulled a dagger from Jinwoo's stomach and stabbed it into his heart. The dagger glowed with a cold white light as it broke through Jinwoo's ribs, and went into his heart. Once the king was sure Jinwoo's heart was broken, he took the dagger out. Jinwoo fell to the ground and bumped his head. He felt dizzy and could tell his enemies were moving away. No, he wasn't finished yet. He tried to move, but he was too weak to even lift a finger. He quickly lost feeling and passed out. Soon he was floating in darkness as his heart stopped beating. Messages started appearing one by one. The player's health is now 0. The player has died. The player now has the black heart. All the needed steps for a special ability called Unknown have been completed. The Unknown ability is now active. Information about the ability appeared on its own. The list of passive skills flashed and changed. It showed skills passive skill Unknown level max. Willpower level 1. Dagger Master level max. Then it showed passive skill Evolution level max. Willpower level 1. Dagger Master level max. Are you awake? Jinwoo heard a voice he knew. As he opened his eyes, he saw a white ceiling and smelled a clean, strong scent. The bed felt very hard. He knew where he was now, the hospital. Jinwoo thought the cold knife had definitely cut into his heart. But was he still alive? He sat up and saw 2 worried people who looked like they had been waiting a long time for him to wake up. Jinwoo recognized one of the men. It was President Wu. He wondered about the monarchs, those powerful monsters. What had happened to them? How had he managed to stay alive? Jincho looked surprised at the person standing next to him, and removed his sunglasses. I have 3 things to tell you. He moved his chair closer to the bed, and his assistant stood right behind him. First, I am not the president of the Hunters Association. I am the leader of the watch team. Also, I was hoping you could tell me about the statues that move. Hunter sung. And one more thing. Jincho looked seriously at Jinwoo. How do you know who I am? Have we ever met before? Just a minute. What do you mean? Moving stone statues. Based on what people who survived told us. The surveillance team asked for help from the White Tiger Guild. But when they got to the room, everything. No, that's not what I meant. Jinwoo interrupted Jincho, feeling very confused. Could it be true? Jinwoo looked up at the ceiling. He realized he had seen this place before. He remembered being here after barely surviving a dangerous mission, called a double dungeon. The Hunters Association had given him this special hospital room for 2 whole weeks to help him recover. He was back in that same room. And from what Jinchul said, it wasn't just the room that felt like the past. How could this be? Jinwoo was so surprised he couldn't speak. Jinchul asked with concern. Are you alright? Jinwoo lowered his head and rubbed his aching forehead. He told Jinchul not to worry. I would like some time to think by myself, please. Why don't you finish checking my magical ability? How did this hunter with a low rank know they thought he might have gained new powers? Jinchul looked at Jinwoo, and then went back to work. First we want to hear what happened in there. If you saw anything before you lost consciousness, I already told you. I don't remember anything. Had Jinchul already talked to Jinwoo? No, he was certain he had never spoken with Jinwoo before. As part of the surveillance team, Jinchul never forgot any hunter he had ever met, but he had no memory of Jinwoo-sung. His shock must be very strong. Jinchul came to this conclusion, and decided to finish up quickly. Bring it here. The helper came closer with a small device showing energy levels. Jinwoo chuckled because everything was happening, just like he remembered. All you need to do is put your hand on this special stone. Okay. With his help the task was finished quickly, but after looking at the results, Jinchul looked worried. He played with the machine several times before looking at the person working with him. Why isn't this working? Didn't I ask you to test it before we came? Sir. The worried person quickly looked at the power gauge, but couldn't get it working. Everything was working well until just now when Jinwoo touched it. Jinchul clicked his tongue and said he was sorry. He explained there had been an error and they would quickly find a new manometer for Jinwoo to use. He asked Jinwoo to please wait while they did. This step was important for the investigation. Jinwoo agreed before Jinchul could say more, so the people from the association quickly began to exit the room. But something made Jinchul pause and return. What was wrong? This wasn't how he remembered things happening. Jinwoo looked up as the director of the surveillance team leaned closer. Just so you know, do you understand what happens to hunters who lie about their rank? Jinwoo stayed silent. I've met a lot of strong hunters, but I've never seen anyone with eyes like yours. If you're keeping anything a secret, you should tell me now. No, I'm not, Jinwoo said. Jinchul looked at Jinwoo for a moment longer, then gave a polite bow. I'm sorry if I upset you. As Jinwoo watched Jinchul leave, he thought the man would be a better fit for the surveillance team than as president of the association. But he didn't worry about that now. Show me my stats. Jinwoo ignored the new messages, and immediately brought up his information. Name Jinwoo Song level 14-6 Job, Shadow Monarch title Demon Hunter, and 2 others HP 93, 300 MEP 720 Fatigue, 0 Stats, Strength 314-4, Stamina 320 Agility, 340 Intelligence 340 Perception, 321 Available ability points, Miro physical damage, reduced by 65%, magic damage reduced by 44%, skills passive skill, willpower LV, 1 dagger master LV, max active skill flash LV, max murderous intent LV, 2 mutilation LV, max dagger barrage LV, max stealth LV, max ruler's authority LV, max Job, exclusive skills, active skill shadow extraction LV, 2 shadow storage LV, 2 monarch's domain LV, shadow exchange LV, 2 did killing the plague monarch cause his levels to go up. That wasn't the only change. Everything Jinwoo had saved was still there. Seeing the 2 Kamisha's wrath daggers right at the top of his inventory made him feel surprised. He had gone back to the beginning, but he still had all the things he had earned. I don't have any helper spirits left though. He would have to find them again. He still had all his skills and remembered everything clearly, so he felt sure he could succeed at anything he tried. But he wondered what had happened, and why he was back in the past. Even though this felt like a new opportunity, he couldn't quite feel joyful about it. He thought hard, trying to remember if he had forgotten anything. Soon, Gina ran into the room. Jinwoo. After the scary thing happened with the monster at her school. Gina usually seemed sad even when she tried to smile, but the Gina standing in front of him didn't look bothered by those memories. Her happy face made his eyes water, and he pulled her close in a hug. Jinwoo. Gina was about to scold Jinwoo for stopping his work, but she was surprised by what he did. What's the matter? Did you bump your head or something? Jinwoo finally let go of her and smiled brightly. Gina's anger faded, and she looked at him with suspicion. She couldn't quite figure it out, but something seemed different about her brother. Maybe he had grown taller in the few days she hadn't seen him. Gina was confused, but Jinwoo's mind was now clear. He made a list of everything he needed to do. He asked his sister to leave the room so he could change. His old clothes didn't fit very well, and were dirty, but they were all he had. He couldn't go around town wearing a hospital gown. As he left the room and quickly walked past his sister, she called out to him. "Where are you going?" "To the Hunters Association." "What for?" "I'm going to stop being a hunter." "Really?" Jinwoo looked back at Gina. Her eyes were wide with surprise. "You really should go back to school. I know you only have permission to leave campus to check on me." "What?" Gina was very confused, but her brother was already gone. The worker checked the new results many times. He rubbed his eyes while he made sure they were correct. This happened before with Hanansha, right? He turned very pale when he looked at the 10th Korean hunter, who didn't show up on the power meter. It was surprising that this man who wore old clothes was a top-level hunter. "Hunter Sung, we can't measure your power." "I know,